All right, it's on. Okay.
All right.
So how did today go?
Okay.
Did you like the plan with the classes today?
You know what, it worked out a lot better, like
Did it?
a lot of the kids even said, Mrs. Bell, why did we take that quiz? Before, if we would have done this, we would have done better on the quiz.
Okay.
So I think it was a really good move to
Good.
change it,
Good.
Yesterday for our kids and not give
Especially
the
our
quiz.
kids. Yeah.
So now tomorrow's gonna be different than what I did today though.
It is, because
Because-
we're off. We haven't
Right.
taken the formative yet.
Right, so what I did first is we went over the homework.
Okay.
And any advice you can give on,
So they were getting it really well. How did the class do when they went through the homework with
they
you?
were starting to make the connections.
Good.
But when we did this yesterday with the kids, we were making those connections together with them.
We
So
were.
they
I think this will go
probably
easy for our
have
class.
it better for
Probably.
tomorrow than the kids that had
Yes.
it today.
Okay.
So it'll just be more so going over these answers,
Mhm.
having someone explain why it's yes, yes, and how are those
And it'll make
connected.
them feel good that they understand this
Mhm.
too. So that'll be good.
And then down here, just having that conversation about summarizing it
Mhm.
is gonna be the important piece. So I had the groups just talk about A, B, C, D
Okay.
in their group. So one
Okay.
person can do A, one person can do B, C, and D, and if we can just split up our groups to
That makes
overlook
sense.
different groups.
Okay.
And this one's just a review question, so, it's totally
Mm-hmm.
not
How to
off
do the
topic,
ratio,
but it's a
yeah.
little bit more with proportionality.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool. So how long does that take usually?
That took about maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's about 10. And then we went into their posters. So I let them choose who was gonna,
Who was gonna describe their
Yeah.
posters?
yeah. Instead of, and if some groups couldn't come up with anybody, then we just rolled a die.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a highest roller.
You know, our group, it seems like there's always somebody that wants to get up and
Right,
talk.
right.
So,
And you know what was interesting is some of the groups said, well, you didn't do a lot when we made the posters, so you get to present it.
Oh, nice.
So we might wanna
Yeah.
talk about that, like when you go around by groups, just say, is there anybody that needs to do a little more,
I like
put
it.
their part in, so.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
That was kind of a cool way. So I did have the kids go up to their posters, and just go through what is their scenario, what is their rule.
Mhm.
They don't have to go into it too deeply. And then I always use the cards to ask, okay, so does this show direct variation?
Cool.
And then what is the constant of proportionality? So that was just a repetitive question. And the
Were they able to
why.
answer it pretty well? They got it?
Mhm.
Awesome.
The constant of proportionality, some kids, is this showing direct variation?
Mhm.
And one of the kids would say, yes, it is. And then the next kid I'd ask, what's the constant proportionality? And they'd tell me. So the next poster was not showing direct variation. And then the next kid would say, constant proportionality is 12. Nope, go to the next kid. It's 15. Nope,
Nope, go to the
and
next
we just
kid.
kept going, and
I
all of a
love
sudden
it.
someone's like, it doesn't have one. So it took maybe one time
And then they
like
figured it
that,
out.
and then they would,
Okay,
it just
awesome.
really worked well for making the connection.
And how long does that take about?
That
I know,
was
don't you
a
hate it when I
little
ask you
bit
time
longer.
questions?
That was
I would
about
think that'd be a good
20,
discussion. Yeah.
20-25.
Okay.
And tomorrow is longer than today, so that's kind of nice.
Oh, yeah. with the-
So
yeah.
then I did hand back the quizzes, so then that's where
That'll be
these
when they
guys
take
need
the
to take it.
formative.
So I want you to look at this
Yeah, let's see it.
and just decide if there was anything that we should take off or.
So this one's just finding the slope and is it
Mhm.
variate? Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm.
And they'll be able to tell that by going through,
Right.
the origin.
And there's
Yeah,
two
they
of
should be able-
those.
Yeah, but it's totally different, like one's counting and
Mhm.
one's doing the
Mhm.
other. And then find the slope, find the y-intercept, and find the equation.
So those are both the
Yeah,
same?
those
The
are
only
both.
thing I was thinking is if, like with some of the kids, Trevor,
Mhm.
whoever, any of those kids, if we just said, start with number 1, then do number 3, so at least they get one of
Yes,
each of those,
That's a good point.
and then move
Because
on.
I'm not sure, how is it doing for
Um,
time? Are they taking a while to do it?
Well, like the day that they took it, is that recording?
Should be.
Okay,
But let me get that one off, hang on.
I don't know.
No, I think, wait. Okay.
So the day that they took it, it did not take them more than 20
But
minutes.
did they know what they were doing though?
20.
Do you think it would take
Well,
less?
that's what some of the
Not know?
kids said, that I just rushed through it, I'm sure that's why I made
Mhm.
mistakes. They didn't do awful, I had, it was half and half. Like I'd have half the class knowing what they were doing and half had troubles.
Mhm.
But half and half was too much to give that benchmark today.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
So-
couldn't this be, wouldn't that be 1/5, or no, it
It's
wouldn't be.
not,
It wouldn't be,
yeah.
because I'm
I
thinking
know.
1/5 X,
I know.
it's not.
If it was flipped over, it was.
Oh, that's a
So-
tricky one.
So
Because
then,
that would've gotten me, like, wait,
I
that's
know,
not
I
1/5
know.
X.
but if you put 0 in for X, you
It's not
can't
gonna-
divide by 0.
You're right.
So 5 divided by 0, you can't do.
That's a tricky one. Okay.
But you know what I told the kids? If they have a hard time flipping it around,
Mhm.
plug in 0 for X and 0 for Y
And see if they
it
equal.
is true.
Mhm.
Well, 0 times 0 isn't 5.
No,
But over here,
Good
2
point.
times 0 does equal 3 times 0.
Yep.
So if they just plug in 0 for both X and Y,
I think were a lot of people getting that one wrong?
you know what, they got no and they got yes, but
They
they would
didn't know
give
why.
wrong reasons.
Okay.
And they would say, I
Got
put
it.
no, why is it wrong? Well,
So find the slope, they can do that one.
but what kids did wrong is they don't look at the counting.
I know.
So
And-
they would go up 4, over 4, slope
But the
is
nice
1.
thing about our kids is that they had that in their
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, like, instead of just trying to count,
Yeah.
hopefully they'll use these
Right.
terms. Now, if they do or not, I don't know.
So just oversee that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care if the kids are
And you and your
doing
friend.
it that way and you also need to see
Yes.
one, go, did you pay
yeah,
attention
look over
to that?
there. I think this is fine, but you're right, should we try?
And then there was one, this is added on, it's just graphing that.
Oh, and then,
So,
yes.
graph it, they can use slope and
Mhm.
y-intercept, or they can make a T-chart.
Cool.
So,
So should we start out with doing like the
I
1,
think
3?
1 and 3 and
And
5,
then-
like even if they just did the odds,
Mhm.
1, 3, 5, 7, but then they do have to do 8.
Do you want the odds or do you want the even?
Well-
Well,
That would make sense too.
because, well, just
Oh, no,
because
then it
that
would-
one. Oh, yeah, it's not
Then it
gonna
would
get
get
that
rid of
one.
that one.
So we'll just deal with
Yeah.
that. Let's do the odds.
Yep,
And if we have time,
the
we'll go back
odds
do
and number
others.
8.
Yep,
So
I like it.
I just,
So formative, odds and
just
number
kind of go
8.
around and say, you
Yeah.
know what, I just want you to do the odds and number 8, just,
Just, and if time, do more.
yeah.
Okay, and then will that take the rest of the class period, do you think?
Well, I'm hoping not, because I want to correct
I was gonna
it.
say, because otherwise, when are we gonna correct it?
And
So we
then-
correct it,
Like today, because the kids had it done, we went through, I had IXL going. And so
Oh.
I had the kids who didn't do as well on it, we did some IXL
Mhm.
topics. The kids that did, actually did where did I have that? They did this additional practice.
okay.
So these were the higher kids
Yeah,
worked
the
through a
extension.
scenario type of
Yeah.
extension problem. And then
I
this
saw
is a
some kids
whole
working on
page.
this.
Yes. So
They were out in the
this-
open area, I think I saw.
yeah, and I did a small group with them on
Okay.
this. So I had my extension group start here while
Mhm.
I got into IXL with the kids in here.
Yes,
And then I switched, you guys know what you're doing in IXL now,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go help them.
cool, and it'll be easier with me
Yeah.
for mine, 'cause
Yeah.
you can just do out
Mm.
there.
And
So then,
so we have to pick there's 2
correct
IXL
them.
topics that I did.
And then, so, but we're not gonna have time for the IXL and things, are we? Because we're still taking the formative.
We'll have to
Probably
see. I mean,
We'll
because
see IXL of time?
I went over the quizzes, but yeah, let's just put IXL
If time.
if time.
And then what are the topics?
They're all starred
That's right.
in theirs, but the ones that I did with the class was S6 and S7 from Algebra 1.
Got it.
And that was how to write a rule if you see the graph in the
Mhm.
y equals mx plus b format.
Mhm.
And then the other one was how to use the rule to graph it.
Cool.
So, okay, plot the y-intercept, move
Yeah, let's
according to
put the
slope.
slope, yep.
So, because that really threw that group. Like,
Okay.
they were like, I don't know how to do this. And it
And
was,
once they
it
can
was
figure
kinda
out
like
what's
this
in the
one.
equation,
Yeah.
it makes it so
Mhm.
easy, they just gotta
Mhm.
know what to look for.
Mhm.
Caleb was funny, he said, why are we going into algebra? We're still 7th grade. I'm like, you're doing that well? He goes, I better not be in algebra next year. I'm like, oh, you won't.
But you know what, they will do a ton of
That's why I
this.
said, I'm like, well, he said,
They
well, I'm
will
not gonna
do
be
a
in
ton
algebra
of
next
this.
year. I said, but you're still gonna go over
Yeah,
it. It just
yeah.
may be a little bit slower paced.
Mhm.
He goes, yeah, I need slower
Mhm.
paced. But it was
Oh.
good, but it was like, it was,
Right.
okay, I can do this, but
But
yeah.
just say, okay, so if you're having a hard time with it now, when you get into 8th grade, you
Yeah.
might go, oh my gosh, I remember how to do this.
Absolutely.
So
And
it
he's gonna-
makes it easier.
I like our seating chart. Are you
Yeah.
still liking our
Yeah.
seating chart?
Oh,
Now
absolutely.
Trevor wasn't here, so I don't know about him talking with Jack.
Yeah.
The rest of them are
Yeah,
like that little group, and I like
yeah.
Elena and Kara, they try with John, and he doesn't, like,
But
they're
they
good with
always give
Caleb.
it, when I talk to them and I
They always
said,
do.
I'm giving you a job
And I
here.
like it. They all work together, and like Sophie's
Yeah.
with who's Sophie with, but it's a good partnership, I can't remember. Is it
Yeah,
James?
she's in the corner.
Is she?
Or is she right there with,
she's with somebody good too, like, they all work
Mhm.
well
Mhm.
together, which is good. I like it.
Yeah.
We can't make them sit in these seats the rest of the year then. Because I'm like,
You just
this is
keep
good.
Moving the group
I'm
to
like,
a
oh, you're on
different
this table
location.
now. You're on this table
Actually,
now.
next week I do want to change the way the seats are.
Oh, like how?
Like change, I'll show you.
Oh, you like different tables? Like
Yeah,
over
like
there?
not grouped like this, like put this edge to this edge, so it goes like this and then like this.
Oh, cool.
And then I face them around the edges, so it's like a table and
Yeah.
a table on an angle. It kind of puts everybody facing the front,
Which I like.
yet they're in groups.
Yeah.
So then the two would just get up and put their
Come around
chairs
the
and
other
come
side.
around and talk to them if they're in groups.
I like it.
But we can still keep our groups together.
Yeah, which is good.
But
But that's enough
I
of a change.
just like it.
but
It's a
good.
little bit of a change and,
Which is
and
nice.
it'll be a new chapter.
Do we want to talk about the benchmark at all?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I saw something sitting on the table, of course, so of course I snagged it. Like it was 20 copies, so I
That's
read one.
okay. So this,
Identify the slope, the y-intercept, the rule. Okay. Slope, y-intercept. If they could figure it out, it's so easy.
I mean, that's really,
Slope, y-intercept rule. Okay.
and that
and then-
just is a little, because there's not grid lines in
Mhm.
there, but it's just from a table, from a rule, from a graph.
chart, Yep. Find the slope containing points. Okay, that should be fine. Like change of y over change of x, that should be
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm.
Write a rule for the following situations. Identify the concept. 18 fish and rice, 4 more of them. Okay. So right away they should know.
So this is like
4,
given a situation,
and
just like they
18.
did on the posters.
And then do, what's the
Table.
slope rate? Yep, okay. This is the ones on the back, I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, I don't know how they're gonna do on
Mhm.
that.
Maybe they could do one.
Maybe,
They just have to pick one. So like, this is just like doing their posters.
yes.
Pick a real life situation
Yes.
and we could just tell them to do one.
Like one direct variation or one non-proportional,
Right,
maybe a
right,
direct variation would be
right.
easiest.
Right.
And you're
Maybe.
okay, because
But they
this would be
might,
the one
they
that,
might think, some of the kids might like the ones that
they
say,
might,
you know,
We
4x
start with
plus
this,
20.
yes.
And they get that it starts somewhere else on the graph.
because I think this will take enough time, I mean, if they can look at it, and, but you know they're not going to. Like,
Right.
they're gonna take their time to go
But-
through it.
They have so many examples on the whole
They do.
test to look at for
Yes.
these. But I think definitely, they don't have to graph them.
Yeah,
So they have to write the situation.
put them in words and then a rule, explain like the slope and y-intercept.
Yeah, that's it.
So do you think one of the three instead
I
of
think
that?
if they just pick one of these two,
I think so too.
yeah, so choose
Okay.
one.
And I think we're
Just for
good.
those kids.
Yeah.
But
I think they're good.
otherwise, I think it's pretty, like Kathy Art said that it took 30 minutes.
Really? And how did her
Kids
kids do? Now,
She said pretty well.
was she
Yeah.
ahead of you? I thought she was behind you. Did she catch up?
She's a little bit ahead.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because I think
that
she's
week-
behind in science.
That week I was gone. I mean, cause, and she sees them every single day.
Yeah.
So it's like a little concept, a little concept.
Mhm.
When we have them for so long, it's hard to do
I know.
2 big lessons in one day.
And you can tell, I
She
mean,
has
their
a
brains
day in
start.
between.
I like the
Yeah.
everyday math.
Yeah.
Last year I had my kids in Dale Kreitz's class because it
Mhm.
was math every day.
Right,
But-
right.
So next year I'm hoping the 74 minutes will help.
I
Every
know,
day.
I know.
I'm hoping.
And a little bit of transition. That's what we're gonna do in our CPT time, I think.
Is to
In our
talk about-
unconference is really, because we've been doing how to do
How to do workshop.
workshop. And so now seeing them every single day,
Mhm. What's
I
that
think a
gonna look
more
like?
consistent workshop could work
I agree with you.
super well.
I agree with you.
And then
I don't
if
know
you
what we're
stay
doing.
with me,
That's the
then
plan.
it can be, you know, like you know what group you're working with and we know the
Absolutely.
pattern
And we know
every
it.
day.
That'd be great.
And even to get
That's the
some
plan. That's what
fun in
Terry's
it.
talking about. Wouldn't that be fun?
Like even in skill work,
Absolutely.
you know,
I
that's
need
what I
it.
keep thinking is I want,
I need it.
so our next unit next week is on fractions, percents and decimals.
Oh,
So,
that's ugly for them.
and it's just,
Fractions.
you know, like that's where I see they need
They do.
drill on
They
even
need-
the fractions, what's a half as a decimal, what's
I
a
know.
3/4, and they don't have those
Jacob still
numbers.
doesn't have multiplication facts.
Mhm.
Like that's how, sorry, I
Mhm.
heard a noise. I wanted to make sure it was one.
Yeah,
Okay, so are we good? Should we turn
I
this
think
off?
so.
Bye, Colleen.